Good morning. How are you? Howdy. How's it going? It's me, your least favorite gender nightmare, here to answer an age-old question. Something scholars from Plato to Chomsky have been arguing over since the dawn of human consciousness. Am I a male impersonator or a female impersonator? Whoa, that's a loaded question. Did you just ask me that? Did you just ask me that? That's wild. That's crazy. Okay, let's back up. What's going on? What year is it? Who am I? Who are you? Where are we? And why are we talking about male and female impersonation? Let's start from the beginning. I mean, like, not Genesis beginning or, like, dinosaurs beginning. Beginning of, like, this year, 2023, I guess. So far in 2023, over 400 anti-LGBT bills have been proposed, with 24 of them being passed over 11 states. A majority of this legislature targets trans people, with roughly 2/3 of healthcare-related bills proposed so far this year restricting gender-affirming care for trans youth, because apparently, according to the right-wingers and transphobes in general, the scary transgender sex monsters want to pump your children full of cross-sex hormones and eat your dog. Despite any gender care that would be available to minors being completely reversible and vastly reducing suicide rates amongst trans children. This rise in transphobic legislature matches the steadily rising rate of anti-trans violence in the past few years. I think it's incredibly important to talk about all of the horrific shit that's happening right now, but I feel like plenty of people have covered the harm of restricting hormone access and outing trans kids in schools, and to be honest, if that isn't already on your radar and you aren't already aware that, I don't know, that's bad, I'd implore you to get high-speed internet in that personal quarry operation you call a home, because Jesus fucking Christ, you live under a rock. And yeah, the laws written about and surrounding trans people do affect us directly, that much is pretty darn clear. But today I'm actually going to talk about the drag bans, because, well, being trans is nowhere near the same thing as being a drag artist. Yeah, those laws are absolutely intended to hurt us as well. So, drag bans. Laws that make drag illegal. Bans against drag. Well, not all drag. I think at least. Girl, I don't know, to be honest. All the language surrounding this is vague as hell on purpose. For example, Tennessee State Bill 0003 outlaws gender-subversive performance in any public space, specifically under the description of male or female impersonation. I feel like that's vague as fuck, right? No, because, like, that's vague as fuck. Like, what does that mean? Does that mean anything? What do you mean? What? This is nothing. Because the bill already outlaws things like stripping, cabaret, etc., which makes the whole inclusion of doing drag in public completely redundant. Because hey, if drag is inherently sexual, if it's inherently an adult performance, then we wouldn't need to include it in the language of the bill, because it would already be under cabaret, stripping, etc. Like, if it's sexual in nature, that's already covered with the other shit, right? So yeah, this is targeting queer people. Duh. I mean, male or female impersonator sounds like something I've been called waiting for the bus back home at night, all dolled up in a free little outfit because I am an addict and my drug of choice is getting takeout across town at 9 p.m. and I need to be the prettiest princess on the 18 bus and I will not be dethroned. Impersonation is a really weird word to use in this law, by the way. The Oxford English Dictionary defines impersonation as the act of pretending to be another person for the purpose of entertainment or fraud. Most likely entertainment in this case, as the bill itself covers other form of adult entertainment. Although, if anyone in the crowd has any experience with fraudulent gender fraud, please let me know. That sounds really fun, and I would love to give it a try. While this law is described as a drag ban, this definition is so vague and so all-encompassing that its implications span much further than just drag. Hey, haven't actors been portraying roles written about or pertaining to the opposite sex for centuries now? Is that drag? Is that illegal now? And where do trans people lie? Where do trans people like me lie? Trans identities are constantly up for debate. People are always debating the validity and existence and realness of the trans experience. People love to ask if we're real or not. Man in a dress, confused tomboy, etc., etc. There are plenty of people out there who wouldn't consider me to be a man because of what they imagine my birth certificate might look like. They haven't actually seen it. What they imagine might be going on with my genetics. Or even weirder, they might feel the need to take a stab at what may be going on with my junk. Yikes! What's up with that? At least take me out to dinner first. Actually, don't. Don't talk to me. Just Venmo me $30 and I'll spend it on takeout or something. My point is, some folks might consider me a male impersonator because I'm transgender. This is where it really gets mixed up, though. I'm gender nonconforming, which means I identify as a man, but Hey, I like wearing dresses and skirts and makeup and I have long hair, etc., etc. What then? Am I a female impersonator because I wear feminine things? Or am I in the clear because I'm not actually claiming that womanhood? Or am I in the clear because my male identity is a fraudulent lie and any of my feminine modes of dress or attributes are signs of my poor, wounded feminine soul shining through, a prayer and apology for the poorly mashed together form that I call a man? The obvious answer is that none of that shit is true. I lied in the beginning. This isn't a video about am I a male impersonator or a female impersonator. I know I'm neither. I know that I'm not impersonating anything. I mean, right now, that's maybe a little different. I am impersonating something a little right now. This is not my day-to-day outfit, believe it or not. Obviously, the answer is that none of that shit is true. What I'm very sure of, though, is that laws like Senate Bill 0003 are vague on purpose, so that officers can bend and twist them and apply them in whatever ways they need to arrest trans people for the crime of simply being, the sin of existing in public, the inconvenience of living on the same earth as the rest of you. This isn't new. The US has a history of banning things like cross-dressing in public. None of this is new. It's the same hate but revived and recycled because some of you are afraid of the beauty which you don't understand, and more of you are too uncomfortable to say anything in our defense. I don't have a pretty conclusion. There's no answer or miracle transphobia here that you haven't already heard of. I'm asking the same thing that I've been asking since I came out scared and alone at 12 years old. I'm asking you the same thing people like me have been asking for decades, for centuries. Stop killing us. Stop calling for our eradication. Stop making us illegal. Stop watching in silence. Stop turning a blind eye to the hate you see around you. Stop pretending you don't see the things going on in your community. Stop letting us die. Start caring about my survival, and start caring about the survival of people in my community. Let us live, let us thrive, and let us flourish.